I can be anything I want to be. I'm a good writer.
But I'm not going to be one.
I paint paintings.
But I'm not going to be an artist.
I make music.
But I'm not going to be a musician.
Why?
Because some things just cannot be taken for granted. Meet my father. His life experiences have directly impacted my sister's life, as well as mine.
What happened in Irina's school only strengthened our decision to leave the country.
Я считал, что школа должна разобраться в этом и каким-то образом остановить.
I believe that they should get involved and stop the contempt towards her. When I went to speak with the teacher at the school, he promised to take care of it. I think he spoke to the parents of the girls insulting Irina, but unfortunately this did not stop them. They continued calling her names, and eventually when they found out that I faced the teacher, they said to your sister, "We will kill you." Now this was scary. This was the thing that we saw how it could affect our family, affect Irina, affect you, and really any member of our family. That was the last drop. It was then that we made the decision to leave and began collecting together our documents.
Meet my sister, Irina. She's the one biting her nails.
I didn't know why people were treating me differently at first. I mean, when we were raised as Jews, and it wasn't overtly religious experience. It was just a cultural thing. We would celebrate certain holidays, you know that. So it was just something I was really used to. So in school, when people were like, oh, Jew, or Zhidovka, which is a really bad word in Russian for Jew, it was really odd, and it took me aback because, again, when parents were raising me, it was in this kind of rosy world of everybody loves everybody else and everybody should be happy and violence never solves anything. And all of a sudden I start going to school and I encounter the fact that that's not really it, that there is violence and people can be really cruel. Kids can be really cruel to each other. And I suppose you could call it hazing commenced. Everything from name-calling to actually rock throwing, believe it or not, on the way home from school. And they hear their parents speak in a certain way about certain people, and that's how they react when they hear the same things in school and later in life, without even knowing why. They have nothing against Jewish children, they have nothing against me, but they heard their parents saying something along the same lines, and here it goes.
Unlike my sister, I was too young to encounter much of this hatred.
It's a really strong person that once fallen, has the strength to get back up again. And I was bullied for a very long time, but I feel like it has made me a strong person to be able to come back. And I've actually talked to some of these people quite recently. The people that have pretty much almost abused me back in school. We didn't really divulge into or dive into the specifics of what happened before. It was just more like, hey, how's it going? But honestly, that almost helped me just realize how far I've come, because they, for the most part, didn't really do too much with their lives. And I suppose that these experiences are the ones that have helped me really build my personality and become who I am today.
Children, For us, this was the most important reason to come here. And we are happy that, well, we can see the result, and we are proud of it.
My parents were given so few opportunities, and out of the little opportunities they had, they chose the one that they thought could open the most doors for their children. The outcome of what opportunities I chose to take advantage of will directly affect how my parents view their decision and reaffirm that it was the right one to make.
I couldn't receive admittance to just any college, not because I was a bad student, but because I was a Jew. At that time, there were restrictions for Jews applying to colleges. There were, I can't tell you how many exactly, maybe 1, 2, or 3 Jews in the whole university. The college that I got into was considered a construction engineering college, and the restrictions there were not as limiting, so it was much easier to get in. This was not the institute that I wanted to study in. I went there because, yes, I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to receive a higher education. In my head, though, when I was your age, I wanted to become a doctor. To become a doctor for a Jew in Soviet Ukraine was very, very difficult.
My mother also wanted to become a doctor, but just like my father, she could not.
There was something called government anti-Semitism. This meant that on the government level, Jews were not considered worthy of having the same rights as others. They were even in some ways limited in their cultural celebrations. If a Jew wanted to celebrate his holidays, he was looked down upon by the government. Just the fact that someone was a Jew was considered offensive and demeaning. At that time, there was also the Communist Party. That was one of the most horrible, one of the most, I think, scary parties that has ever existed. Many people died before the war and after the war, only because they were smart, maybe even smarter than someone else. They were just killed. Just killed. And I think that one of the directives of this party also had to do with Jews. They did not want any Jews to show achievement, to show maybe smarts or show something that makes them better than someone else. That's why, unfortunately, the Jewish nation suffered more than many other nations during the repressions that occurred before and after the war. They were called the Stalin repressions. It was a scary time, a horrible time, when people went to sleep at home and did not know if they would wake up in the morning in their own house or in prison. Fathers were taken away from their families. They took away mothers. They took them away, killed them, without hesitation or explanation, without anything. It is scary. Scary when in a country there is no one to protect you. Scary even when you live in a country and the government that is supposed to be your protector hides from you important information, events, situations, what was vital to be helped. They needed to explain, take action, maybe in a motherly or a brotherly way.
You read books like 1984. You watched movies like V for Vendetta. The people who created them had to get their ideas from somewhere. Guess where these ideas came from? History.
The whole idea behind our immigration was to bring you here and show you how you can live, how it is right to live, and how we would want for you to live.
It's only recently that I have grown to understand why I'm going in the direction that I'm going in. The best part is, I'll go that way happily and without regret.
Thanks to those that have made that one significant decision.